Hi folks, welcome back to Lonely Horde Guitars. In a poll a while back, with this Limba guitar, everybody or a bunch of people voted for the koa binding. So that's what we did. Continued on with the theme for the tailpiece, for the bridge, for the headstock. So now it's time for the first coat of oil on this, and we're going to do that today. So we've got some Watco tongue oil, we've got a rag for application, a rag for wiping. I've got a handful of sheets here of 600 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to use that for the more porous wood. After we apply the oil, we're going to hit it with the 600 grit, and it should drive the sawdust into the pores, give us a little bit smoother surface without having to use like a filler that might change the color or something. And then of course nitrile gloves just to help us make it clean for our hands. Okay, we're gonna start with the back here. And we're not going to slop it on, but it should be wet. Previously, I've wet sanded this up to 320, so it should be pretty smooth already. Shouldn't get a whole lot of grain rise out of it. This Limba is pretty porous, so it is going to soak this up pretty good. Already really like the contrast on that binding. Okay, it's a little dry here towards the back end, so we do want to get it wet again. And then I'm just gonna lightly sand with the 600. Now this is gonna dull it up. Gonna go satin, even maybe matte here. But as we layer on more coats of oil, that'll pick up more gloss, with our ultimate goal of being kind of a satin finish. All right, now we're just going to keep going. Get to the worst of the overspill so that we don't end up with any uneven coverage. Oh yeah. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Flip it over, keep going. Now the top, we're not going to do any of the sanding. Spruce isn't really porous like the other. Oh, look at that bridge. That is fantastic. Now, what I've forgotten to do, and I do usually do, is I usually stuff the whole sound hole with rags in case I end up with any drippage, which I have neglected to do this time. Thankfully, I seem to be not very sloppy today, so that's working out just fine. The top of the fretboard has already been sealed with a few coats of tung oil, so this should just wipe off pretty well. Make sure I got the sides though. Now what we're going to do, go back to the back or there, just sort of wipe up any excess. We don't want slop on here. We want nice thin coats, which we will build up over time to get a nice gloss. That looks like that actually did not get as wet as I wanted it to be. There we go. All right, first coat is done. Go hang it up to dry, and then I'll buff off any places where I may have still had handprints and stuff while it's hanging. Check the tails to make sure I'm not leaving any imprints from this pad. So thanks everybody for voting on the binding. I think that was a fantastic option, and it is coming out exactly how I had hoped. This is the kind of content you like, please like, subscribe, you know the drill. See you at the next one.